Hi, my name is Roshan Alaki Subramaniam. My matrix number is TG22025. I'm from Group 7, and today we're going to do a presentation about our poster that we created for this physics project. The other members from my group is Pua Kajin, Yap Jing Kwan, Julius Lim Chuang Kiang, Misharina Andrew Kwek, and me. Our poster is about renewable energy. Renewable energy is the energy derived from natural sources that are replenished at a higher rate than they are consumed. Sunlight and wind, for example, are sources that are constantly being replenished. Renewable energy are sources of plentiful and all around us. Fossil fuels, coal and oil and gas, on the other hand, are examples of non-renewable energy. Non-renewable resources that take hundreds of millions of years to form. Fossil fuels, when burned to produce energy, cause harmful greenhouse gas emissions such as carbon dioxide. And also in this presentation, we will be exploring principles of conversion of energy and how it relates to renewable energy. The law of conservation of energy states that energy can neither be created or destroyed, only converted from one form of energy to another. This means a system will always has the same amount of energy unless it's added from the outside. This is particularly confusing in the case of non-conservative forces where energy is converted from mechanical energy into thermal energy. But the overall energy does remain the same. The only way to use energy is to transform the energy from one form to another.
Hello, my name is Julius Lim Kiang, and my matrix number is TG22023. So, renewable energy has plenty of benefits to using it. But why do many countries in the world still use non-renewable energy? Firstly, non-renewable energy such as fossil fuels are cheap to process and they generate a lot of energy. Fossil fuels such as coal contains rich chemical energy that can be converted into energy that we use in our daily life. Other non-renewable energy such as nuclear energy generates a ton more energy that renewable energy cannot keep up with. But here's the problem. Non-renewable energy has limited supply, and while we are still able to use them to provide energy today, there is no guarantee that they will continue to do so in the future. Non-renewable energy are also a leading factor in causing climate change. Most traditional power plants will release a giant amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which leads to global warming. Not only that, some of them release sulfur dioxide, which can cause environmental hazards such as acid rain. Therefore, people start to look towards the alternative solution, renewable energy. Renewable energy are using sources that cannot be used up during a human's lifetime. They use natural resources that Earth provides and convert those energy into usable energy for our lives. As a bonus, renewable energy counts as green energy that does not produce any carbon emissions into the atmosphere. In fact, renewable energy in Malaysia contributes to around 8% of the total energy consumption in 2021. That's all from my part of the presentation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Misharina Andrew Kwek, and my matrix ID is TG22024. Today, for my part, I will be explaining about two more renewable sources of energy, which are geothermal energy and hydro energy. First of all, geothermal power plants use steam to produce electricity. The steam comes from a reservoir of hot water found a few miles or more below the Earth's surface. The steam rotates a turbine that activates a generator, which produces electricity. There are three types of geothermal power plants, which are dry steam, flash steam, and binary cycle. For the first one, dry steam power plants draw from underground resources of steam. The steam is piped directly from underground wells to the power plants where it is directed into a turbine. Second, flash steam power plants are the most common and uses geothermal reservoir of water with temperature greater than 182 degrees Celsius. This very hot water flows out through wells in the ground under its own pressure. As it flows outwards, the pressure decreases and some of the hot water boils into steam. The steam is then separated from the water and used to power a turbine. Any leftover water and condensed steam are injected back into the reservoir, making this a sustainable source. Third, binary cycle power plants operate on water at lower temperatures of about 107 degrees Celsius until 182 degrees Celsius. Binary cycle plants use the heat from the hot water to burn a working fluid, usually an organic compound with a low boiling point. The working fluid is vaporized in a heat exchanger and used to turn a turbine. The water is then injected back into the ground to be reheated. The water and the working fluid are kept separated during the whole process, so there are little or no air emissions. Currently, two types of geothermal resources can be used in binary cycle power plants to generate electricity, which are the enhanced geothermal systems and low temperature or co-produced resources. Next, I will be talking about hydro energy. Hydropower or hydroelectric power is a renewable source of energy that generates power by using a dam or diversion structure to alter the natural flow of a river or other body of water. Hydropower relies on the endless, constantly recharging system of the water cycle to produce electricity, using fuel, which is water, that is not reduced or eliminated in the process. There are many types of hydropower facilities. They are all powered by the kinetic energy of flowing water as it moves downstream. Hydropower utilizes turbines and generators to convert that kinetic energy into electricity, which is then fed into the electrical grid to power homes, businesses, and industries. Because hydropower uses power to generate electricity, plants are usually located on or near a water source. The energy available from the moving water depends on both the volume of the water flow and the change in elevation, also known as the head, from one point to another. The greater the flow of the water and the higher the head, the more the electricity that can be generated. At the plant level, water flows through a pipe, also known as penstock, and then spins the blades in a turbine, which in turn spins a generator that ultimately produces electricity. Most conventional hydroelectric facilities operate this way, including run-of-the-river systems and pump storage systems. That is all from me. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Hua Kai-ching, TG22020. We'll talk about renewable energy and how it functions. There are many other types of renewable energy, but I will focus on wind and solar energy. Both of them may be converted into electrical energy, which is a similarity between both. First, wind is used to produce electricity by converting the kinetic energy of air in motion into electricity. Wind energy is power generated by the wind force, with the aid of a wind turbine, which converts the kinetic energy of air currents into electrical energy. This energy is mainly extracted with the rotor, which transforms the kinetic energy into mechanical energy, and with the generator, which transforms this mechanical energy into electrical energy. In order to utilize the kinetic energy of the wind and convert it into electrical energy, it is necessary to use a wind turbine. The optimal use of these giants depends on the strength of the wind. For this reason, wind farms, which pull a large number of wind turbines and make it possible to obtain this energy in large quantities, must be set up in places where windy conditions are predominant. The wind turbines have to be oriented in the direction of the wind, which is done by means of wind on the nacelle. A wind turbine turns wind energy into electricity using the aerodynamic force from the rotor blades, which work like an aeroplane wings or helicopter rotor blade. When wind flows across the blade, the air pressure on one side of the blade decreases. The difference in air pressure across the two sides of the blade creates both lift and drag. The force of the lift is stronger than the drag, and this causes the rotor to spin. The rotor connects to the generator, either directly or through a shaft and a series of gears that speed up the rotation and allow for a physically smaller generator. This translation of aerodynamic force to rotation of a generator creates electricity. Solar power is energy from the sun that is converted into thermal or electrical energy. Solar energy is the cleanest and most abundant renewable energy source available. Solar power converts energy from the sun into electrical energy. One way to do this is with photovoltaic materials. This can be used to create an electric current when they are exposed to light. This is called the photovoltaic effect. The photovoltaic cells or solar cells can do this. Manufacturers often put lots of solar cells together to make solar panels. A solar panel is made of solar cells sandwiched between layers of clean adhesive film. In front of this is a layer of glass held by a frame. Behind is a layer of aluminium called the backsheet, which can conduct electricity. The electricity generated by the solar cell leaves the solar panel at the junction box. The solar cells are usually made from silicon. Silicon is a naturally occurring chemical element. It is also a semiconductor. Semiconductors can act as both a cell conductor and an insulator. A solar cell has two different layers of silicon. One is called the P-type and the other is called the N-type. The N-type semiconductor can give away electrons easily. The semiconductor faces towards the light. The p-type semiconductor can receive extra electron. We call the spaces for these extra electrons holes. This semiconductor is underneath the n-type one. Energy from sun comes to Earth in little packets of energy called photons. The photons knock the silicon's atom. These create loose electrons on the n side and holes on the p side. The loose electrons are collected on the aluminum layer. Then they begin to fall. This forms an electric current.
In conclusion, since energy can never be created or destroyed, we should make good use of renewable energy such as wind energy, geothermal energy, and solar energy that was inexhaustible, and not just rely on non-renewable resources such as fossil fuels that could be potentially depleted within our children's lifetime. Renewable energy are the alternatives in the future because renewable energy not only becoming increasingly cheaper than fossil fuel for electricity generation, but also has much lower carbon footprint compared to coal and other fossil.